So here's your short setup on XRP. It would be something very similar. You can even go on a lower time frame. It would be very similar to Solana, where you're tagging the mid-range here. So this is clearly your resistance spot, right? You're coming down from it. So I would open up a short like this. Stop loss would be these highs. And then I would write it down to here. Run this low. That's your short. You can even do it like that. Make it a little bit tighter. Because once you get back up to 2, nah, I wouldn't do that. I would do these highs. Cool. Do something like that. If you want to be super greedy or you think you're fucking really bearish, do range lows. If you reject off the mid-range, you could expect range lows again. You could put it down here, take profit right here, take profit here, right? A couple TPs. And then that would be the end of the trade, would be range lows. I would not expect lower than range lows, okay? So XRP is in the, I would say XRP is a good short, okay? Yes, it showed a ton of strength. Yes, people are going to call you stupid for shorting XRP, whatever. If we get a pullback across the board on majors, I would expect XRP to show some weakness just because compared to the other major assets, the major altcoins, it is more overbought than the others. So if it's more overbought than the others, then there's going to be more of a mean reversion play for people to make money. So it's going to be more likely that people are going to want to scale out of XRP or short XRP to bring that RSI down, and that RSI will start to come down and become healthier on the monthly. So that would be a similar short setup for XRP. Okay, so there's your short setup on XRP. We got time for one more. Let's do FARTCOIN. Okay, so FARTCOIN's been one of the strongest assets off of the lows. Okay, same with Hype. Look at Hype since the lows. Already back up in here, consolidating in this range. Hype has shown massive strength. This is Hyperliquid's native token. And then FARTCOIN has shown massive strength as well. So let's take a look at FARTCOIN. Whoops. Look at this. And I bought this down here too. We put this in the Discord. I have the pictures in the Discord. We drew this as the demand zone. Keep it coming down a little bit lower to the bottom of these wicks. Oops. Here's the clear demand zone. And look what that. Look, see, we swept that wick perfectly. Okay. We came up and I said on the retest, right, over in here of this demand zone. This is in our Discord, the private Discord inside the Taylor's code. On the retest of this demand, if we're bullish, this is where you're aping. And this is where I was accumulating FARTCOIN. Look at that. You break up out of this demand zone. Right? It's resistance, 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 resistance. You break up out of it, you pump hard. You come back down into it. It's now, you're reaccumulating down in here. You break up through it again. Once you flip resistance into support, you're going to come back down and retest it to make it support, and bang, we rip off of FARTCOIN. Look at this. And very stair-step, nice vertical accumulation. How much are we up? Well, if you're buying it like we said, 3.5x. So you didn't even have to buy the Pico low if you were inside of the Discord. If you were inside of the Taylor's code, you would have seen the charts I posted on FARTCOIN. I wasn't super loud about it because our big thing is the boys club. But I did accumulate this, and I did throw this chart in there. We're up 3.5x off the demand bounce, off the bounce off of the support. Okay, so there has been huge opportunity. Why is FARTCOIN so popular? Because it's, for me personally, I don't think it's funny. But people think it's funny because it's fucking ridiculous that a crypto coin called FARTCOIN, made by an AI agent. So this was made by an AI agent. Launched this coin. It's one of the coins launched by, I believe it was the one who launched Goatsus Maximus. It was launched by an AI agent. So it was made by an AI. And it's called FARTCOIN. So for this to have $1 billion, because at one point it was over $1 billion evaluation, larger than some of the biggest companies in the world, a bigger evaluation, worth more money than some of the biggest companies in the world, it's people think it's hilarious. And it is hilarious. It's just, I don't think the meme's funny, but I get why it's funny. It's because it's so ridiculous that people are bidding this, and it's going to billion-dollar valuations. So this has been a fucking great play. Now, Andy, Wolf, Pepe, Brett have all been up off the ground 3x, 2.5x, 2x. So, you would have performed similarly, but it's a good bet to have. It's good to have it because it's on Solana. So it gives you exposure to a different ecosystem, a different L1, which is Solana, outside of just being Ethereum, tied to Ethereum. So off of these buys that I was making, I'm already up 3.5x. Not bad. Not fucking bad. I told you. I've been saying it on Snapchat, Instagram, the YouTube channel. Like, I've been saying it. The money printers are coming back on. Lock the fuck in. It's game time, baby. It's money-making season. Come on now. Look at this. So there's FARTCOIN for you. Now, what I would do for a entry on this, well, if we get a further pullback, this is probably your best bet, is right in here. That would be the most shallow pullback, would be down into this region, like a cent or a dollar. I'd be bidding like $1. If you're fucking blessed and lucky, maybe you get that. Sweep that low before going, maybe. But if this continues to show the strength that it's been showing, and the market is going to continue to show strength across the board, I don't really think you're going to get that big of a pullback, because look, what's the price right now? That would be a 30% pullback. So that's your best case scenario. I think your best case scenario is you get a 30% pullback on FARTCOIN. You come back into that little consolidation region, and then that's where you're bidding. That would be your bid zone. I don't see further than a 30% pullback. If you get more than a 30% pullback, it's cooked. It's over. It means that was our exit bounce, and we're cooked. If you come back down in this demand, it's done. So that's your best case scenario for a bidding opportunity. If you get one, their best bet is probably like 22%, 18% pullback, something like that, into this little region right here. That's where I would be bidding.